Hello, everyone, and welcome to my continuing series on Quiet, Susan Cain's extraordinary book that changed my life more than a decade ago. This week, I'm talking about boards, board leadership, and board dynamics through this frame of introversion. I'm in chapter 1, and there's so much good information here, I might do 2 videos. But one point Susan makes is that if we assume that quiet and loud people have roughly the same number of good and bad ideas, then we should worry if the louder and more forceful people always carry the day. That would mean that an awful lot of bad ideas prevail while good ones get squashed. Such an interesting point in terms of board dynamics and which opinions get heard. I've been saying for a while that one of the roles of a board chair is to make sure everyone's voice is heard. We know that the extroverts are going to be heard, certainly around a table, and now even more importantly in a video chat, the extroverts will speak up sooner, more often, and with more verve. But it doesn't mean the introverts don't have good ideas. So what's the role of the board member here, and how do we make sure that the dynamic is the one that leads to the best fiduciary responsibility and guidance and leadership and strategy for the board? It means that a board chair has to make sure that those who are quiet are still being heard. How often do we find that at the very end of a discussion, when a leader says, "Does anyone else have something to say?" that someone raises their hand and says, "Oh, I have something." And it is something really pithy and important that we wouldn't have heard otherwise, because that person was formulating their thoughts, waiting for the right time, not wanting to interrupt, not feeling the need to be the center of attention, whatever it is. But the point is still valid, sometimes more valid because the person has actually taken a fair amount of time to think about what they want to say. So really important on that front. Also in this chapter, Susan talks about leaders and how, once again, extroverted leaders are perceived to be better, though the data does not hold up. They have found that introverted leaders were 20% more likely to follow the suggestion of their teams. Their teams had 24% better results than the teams of extroverted leaders. There's a sense, and Susan talks about this, that in order to be a good leader, you have to be the one in the room that everyone is paying attention to and everyone is listening to. And there may be moments when that's true, but so much good leadership is based on one-on-one, how you communicate individually with people, how you communicate in writing, and so forth. So my question is your board chair an introvert or an extrovert? Can you see how that is impacting how they lead? Are they getting the support they need one way or another to be the best they can be? Are they, given who they are, making sure to build the board's cohesion, to be aware of that, and to make sure every board member's opinion and perspective is being valued? So in a world where we're doing so much of this by video chat, and it's even harder to get everyone to participate, how do we make sure? Do we ask in advance for opinions? Do we call on people and go around the room? If someone's been silent, do we follow up with that person afterwards to make sure that person's voice is heard? Because introverts have a lot of power, have a lot of great ideas, are really important. And in today's society, on a board, in decision-making situations, we don't always hear their point of view. So where's your board chair on this, and how effective is your board? Susan Cain's Quiet. I love this book.